What is going on? What is going on? It's big game, James. Yeah, I'm back in the house, man. You know how we do. I did a little sleep night, and then we hit it hard on that late night hype. It was a fire show last night on that late night hype. And today I got my big dog, Nick Herrera. Did I say the
What's
last
going
name
on,
right?
man?
Did I say the last name right?
Yeah, the Herrera. Yep.
Okay. I was
Yeah,
making
good.
sure. Okay, I was making sure. But Nick jumped on here last month. We had a great conversation. So I was like, let's do it again right before the season is over. And let's talk a little bit about maybe potential playoffs, these coordinators. You know how it's a never a dull day in Dallas, man. But how's everything been going with you? How was your Christmas?
It was good. It was good. Spent a little time with some of my family. They live not too far. But yeah, relaxing. A little different than normal, but it was nice. How was yours?
Man, I don't care about no Christmas. Man, I'm like the Scrooge for real, for real. But hey, like I said, another healthy day. We're still here, so I can't complain about that. So, Christmas is just another day to me, but I do thankful
There you go.
for everything that happens. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But hey, let's jump into. I got some people coming in, probably come a little bit later on the YouTube because it's my boot thing said the notification ain't gonna come up aren't coming up, so they'll probably jump in. But got my guy from Facebook jumping in, Mario Moreno, Corey Idol, what's going on? How y'all doing? They'll keep on jumping in the building. But let's just jump off first of all, because I know you be talking a lot about these daggone Eagles and these Cowboys specifically. You've been talking about this Wentz thing forever. You've been going back with them Eagles. I told you I was done talking with that a while back. But you be going ham, but you be throwing out the stats about it. So what was your feeling? Let's start talk about the game. Going into the game, what was your kind of feeling when Carson Wentz got benched, Jalen Hurts came out and did his thing in Arizona? What was your feeling before that game?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't have a lot of confidence going into that game. Mainly because Hurts does a lot of things that our defense doesn't typically do well. He is good with his legs, and we've historically struggled with athletic quarterbacks. So I kind of thought it would play out to where we would, have him at 3rd and 5, and he would rush for a first down, and they would just kill us with that. So I was very blown away when we were able to actually not only take a lead, but do some things to kind of mess with the rookie. So delightfully surprised for sure.
And now let me give a few shout outs because I see some people coming up in the YouTube. Logan Davis was good with you. Thurston Howe the third. You know how we do. Craig English, how you doing? Keep on coming in. Make sure you like it. It don't cost nothing to like the damn thing. So make sure you like it and share it on Facebook, share it on YouTube. Let's share because sharing is caring. So now we all watched the game. We was excited. I know some people was mad. Oh no, man, the draft position. But by this point now, dog, I ain't even thinking about the draft position because we done got to this point now. You know what I'm saying? So that's out the door. The big thing was that Jalen Hurts didn't kill us with his feet like we thought he was going to go nuts. So, he threw the ball, but he didn't have the greatest passing game, had 2 interceptions in that game. I felt like we contained him for the most part. But what was your thoughts after that game? And you've seen the performance of the Cowboys, Andy Dalton, receivers, Michael Gallup. Just tell me your whole thoughts, your synopsis.
Yeah, it was nice to see for the most part, a well-rounded game. We still were exposed in certain areas where we kind of are expected to be exposed at, for example, like the running game. But when you're not turning the ball over on offense and you're able to put up some points, you force the other team to actually have to pass the ball. So when we're able to do that, that allows our defense to, pin your ears back, rush the passer, and we're able to get some interceptions out of that. So I like the direction we're going. I like the adjustments we're making. We still have areas where we need to improve drastically. That's why I'm not getting ultra hyped about any potential playoff run. But small improvements, adding each week different wrinkles to make yourself a better football team. And that's kind of what we're seeing. So I enjoyed it.
Okay, so let's talk about this defense right quick. We're going to talk about both sides, but we're talking about adjustments because it seems like Mike Nolan has made some adjustments, and this particularly was one of the adjustments when he put C.J. Goodwin as a spy on Jalen Hurts, and he was mixing and matching. He seems like he's been doing this a lot. I seen Jay Lou play a little bit of free safety.
Yeah,
we've seen him been moving guys around, which they said they were going to do at the beginning of the season. It looks like now toward the end of the year, the things that they were talking about, except having DeMarcus Lawrence and them stand up, it looks like they finally got smart and said, "Look, just stay down there. That's your spot. That's what you do." Alden Smith, that's what you do. Keep them down there. But we've seen the adjustments by Mike Nolan. How are you feeling about Mike Nolan week 15 right now going into the Giants?
I'm still not overly confident in Mike Nolan, but I like the direction that we're going. I don't think he has a track record of being a great coordinator by any means. But at the same time, I don't think he has typically been as bad as we saw during the first half of the season. So I think it's one of those things where you kind of got to walk before you can run. And when we were walking, we were getting killed. But now these guys are a little bit more comfortable in the system. You're able to add those little small adjustments, those wrinkles, putting guys in different positions that can have almost a specialty role. So if we continue to do that, I'm all here for it. But let's see, it might be a little too little too late.
Yeah, we'll see. My guy Frankie Kenneth says, yo, tell Nick not to forget the little people when he blows up. Hey, that's what I'm saying, man. That's why I got Frankie. First. You know what I'm saying? That's why I got him first. So when he do blow up, I'll say, I knew Nick first for all y'all, dog. But, I feel you on that. But here's my thing with Mike Nolan. I think, I'm worried about – not worried, but here's the thing. What I'm thinking that now you've been seeing the turnovers. I think we have, 10 turnovers in the last 3 weeks, 7 turnovers against the Eagles. Every single game except the first game with the Eagles when we had 4 turnovers. If the Cowboys have at least 2 turnovers in the game, we won those games. So turnovers have been huge for the Cowboys to do that. And it goes back to like 2014. I think Rob Phillips had brought it up. This is the most turnovers we had since 2014. And we didn't have a good defense then, but they were very opportunistic and kept us in games. You know what I mean? Now, what I'm kind of thinking is Jerry Jones, I'm going to ask your opinion on this. You think Jerry Jones, and we talked about this on the Late Night Hype, Law brought this up. You think Mike Nolan will come out? Well, hell, we got most turnovers we had since 2014. We winning games now. When I have a full complement of players, I've been moving people around, we're doing things. Do you think Jerry Jones, now looking at it right now, and if we happen to slide into the playoffs, do you think Jerry Jones says, you know what, I'm going to give you another year, Mike Nolan?
He's making a case for it, honestly. He's making a case for himself. And we know that Jerry Jones is a little overly loyal to the guys he hires, both players and coaches. So I wouldn't be shocked if Nolan is back next year. I think a lot of us will be upset by that. But if he is gone, I would just assume that's an internal hire anyway. So you're going to have kind of the same guys still working with these players. I think it's kind of 50-50 right now.
How do you feel about it? Do you want Mike Nolan back?
Don't necessarily want him back, but I'm also at this point not going to flip a table if he is back. I don't think he has been as bad as most think he has been. I think a lot of the things he's trying to do will get better over time. I think his biggest issue has been communicating with these players and trying to teach what they need to do in a quick amount of time. So I think the more comfortable these guys are in the system, the better he'll be. So a little bit of a cover up.
Yeah, see, and this is what I'm looking at though, Nick. I'm kind of like you. Yesterday, I was adamant about not letting them back because I don't want us to. Somebody said fall for the banana and the tailpipe trick. You feel me? Or definitely. just get fooled by the fool's gold. And that's what I'm looking at, because Mike Nolan in his track record has never had anything great, or when he's had any kind of talent or not have talent. He hasn't had great teams, and they haven't been great defenses except when he had the Ravens. But that was Marvin Lewis's defense, and that was way back. That was like 20-some years ago, man. We're talking about 2020. But when I'm still seeing these games, I still see 477 total yards by the Philadelphia Eagles, 458 total yards. I know it wasn't a lot of yards by the Bengals, but they still were moving the ball up and down the field, but they had the turnovers. 401 by the Ravens, 338 against the Washington football team, 430 from the Vikings. It's not like, Dallas is shutting these teams down. They're still 30th ranked in rushing defense, 11th in the pass, but I think that's deceiving when you had about 6 teams run over 200 yards on us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this is my thinking. I am in your maybe corner as far as I'm not going to throw up a table if he says, all right, let's bring Mike Nolan back. I'm not going to be like, man, damn. But I am going to be frustrated because I feel like, yes, you're seeing the team playing better and it is adjusting better. But I seen also other teams that had first-year coaches and they didn't have these problems that we had. And Mike Nolan in his career has not ever been great. So it leads me to think that just because you're doing this right now, that doesn't mean this is going to carry over to a next year, because history shows that you are a middle level defensive coordinator, nothing great. And right now we need somebody who's really going to bring this pain on defense, because have been our struggles for so long, in my opinion.
And I think to kind of, and I don't want to sound like I'm defending Nolan, because again, I could care less if he's leaving. But with defensive coordinators, I feel like there's a select few that can really bring out greatness out of random players. The rest are a product of the talent that they have, for the most part. Again, I don't think he's in the top tier for sure. He's probably in the lower middle half of those type of coordinators, where if you give him good talent, he can call a good game. Play calling isn't really his issue. The problem in Dallas is we have bad defensive tackle play. That leads to and highlights our bad linebacker play, which leads to and highlights our bad safety play. So when you're weak completely up the middle, it doesn't matter if you have DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory on the outside. They're not going to have a chance to really eat and pin their ears in pass rush. So until we fix a couple of those things, we're going to be talking about very similar things with whatever coordinator, especially if we're bringing in an outside guy that's having to install a whole new system. So that's why I'm not as worried about it. The big thing is bring in some talent. Let's get some D tackles in here. Let's get a safety in here. Upgrade the talent and we'll get a better product.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing right there. Are we ever going to jump out there and do that? Now, I'm going to say the last couple of years, Stephen Jones has done a little bit different because, like I said, you got a Robert Quinn, which I didn't think they were going to do. You got Randall Cobb, which I didn't think they were going to do. Who else did they got? That did pretty good with us. That was a pretty good free agent a couple years ago, 2019.
A couple years ago.
Besides Cobb and Quinn, was it somebody else?
I feel like there was.
I feel like there was one more person. Somebody in the chat kind of let me know.
Yeah.
But even this past year, they went out and got a Poe. Even though Snacks was available, I didn't like that because I feel like they still could have hedged that Snacks things if they really wanted to, and I didn't like that. I felt like they settled for Poe because that was a shut up signing to me. Shut up. We got a big man in the middle. Be quiet now. Gerald McCoy, that's cool. I wasn't hating on the McCoy signing because McCoy was still productive in his time in the NFL. So, but he was still 32 years old. Ha ha, dicks. Okay. But it's still, Nick hasn't been one of these dogs.
Yeah, that's the thing. The guys they've brought in, a lot of them have question marks. Gerald McCoy, he's a big name. He was a highly touted player, but they didn't have confidence enough to give him just a straight up a contract. They had injury settlements written in there. They had weight loss settlements with clauses within Poe's contract. So it's one of those things where they're not really going in on all these guys. They kind of like what you said, a shut up signing to where, hey, yeah, we signed 2 guys on the D line that could help us out, but we're also paying kind of pennies for them. And we have outs just in case they don't work out. So I think you have to sign a guy who you're confident, give him a 2-3 year contract, kind of middle of the road free agent, just to make any type of real impact.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing with me. The shut up signings, just like you said, it's almost like we're signing you, but we don't really deeply believe in you because we're going to do this, and this, and make sure to cover our tracks instead of you going after a dog and saying we're all in. We want you here. We're going to get you on a deal, and you're going to be a cornerstone for us. And you don't have to sign 15 people every year in free agency to do that, but you do need to address this defensive tackle position, and it has to be done now. What do you think about a Snacks Harrison at the end of the year and then going into next year? Because we know about this draft, there isn't no super dogs in that first round. Would you look at a Snacks Harrison, or there's that my guy Connor? I can't remember his last name. He plays for the Giants right now. He's in the middle.
Tomlinson.
Tomlinson.
I would go Tomlinson way over Snacks. So with Snacks, he just got released by Seattle, and Seattle needs defensive help. I would have loved Snacks at the beginning of the year, but it sounds like he had 1 foot out the door, ready for retirement, contemplating it, came in out of shape. I'm not sure if necessarily he's a guy I would want to bring in. it's just one of those things where might be a little too late for him to really be like that big impact guy. I'd rather invest in a younger guy, ready for his first big contract. But he's not, Aaron Donald, so you're not gonna have to break the bank, but someone that gives me a little bit more of a long-term security there. That's going to be Snacks is going to be a 1-year rental at best.
And we need a guy that like is going to be here for the long haul, dog.
Yeah.
We need somebody who's going to be that guy, because I like Antoine Woods and he's up, and I think he's kind of just made a name for himself as far as with the people in Dallas and kind of made his home here. So I would think that the Cowboys are going to re-sign him, because I feel like he's just really put his mark in Dallas with the other guys. So I would think you want to bring him back. But
I love Antoine Woods, and I think he's a guy that you can have on your team. I just don't necessarily think that he needs to be having 80% of your snaps at one tech. Get a guy that can rotate in, whether he's starting or he's a similar type of player. You need those nasty players in there that can take up blocks.
I think that's where you get the Tomlinson kid, because he's young, 25, 26 years old. You have Antoine backing him up. You rotate those guys, and then guess what? Now you don't have to worry about sliding a Gallimore out of position. Keep him at the 3 tech. Tristan Hill's coming back at the 3. Bye.
You can draft another one too. Let them all compete.
And here's the thing: you can still get one in the 3rd or 4th round, and then you don't feel like you're forcing yourself to move up in the 1st or 2nd round to reach and get one, because you got a cornerstone guy or a guy you feel really good about the defensive tackle position. And there's okay, because it ain't going to kill that cap, which you're talking about, because even him, he's not going to command a crazy amount of money. But if it does, sometimes you got to jump out there and do that. And if we keep on bargaining back, it's just we're always going to come up short. I feel like we'll have good teams, we'll compete, but we won't get to that next level. And that's what my frustration is now. We already have a good enough talent team. We can add some more, but we need to get over the hump. And the only way you get over the hump is get one of these guys.
Yep. We need to have at least a middle of the pack defense. With our offense, at least middle of the pack. Preferably, you want to be, a top 10. I don't think that's realistic for next year, but you got to do something well on defense, whether it's having a stout D-line, having really good corners, having elite linebackers, which we thought we had, but we don't. But you can't be just okay at everything and have holes at multiple spots. You're just not going to be able to do anything with that. So I think the best way to get us to that middle is get some D tackles, man. Covers up a lot of things.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll go out and actually do it this time. What do you think about you talked about D tackle? What about the safety position? Now, would you want to go out and sign a big time D tackle and then maybe go in the draft, or maybe convert somebody that we already have somebody there, or you think you can try to slide a Robinson because you got players still there? And like I said, me and Mike White have talked about with Jordan Lewis. He may be too small, but I think he could play a free safety. Tyrann Mathieu does it, and I think he's definitely a big time tackler. What do you think? Would you want to go to a free agent D tackle, spend the money, or spend the money on a big time safety, and then kind of go? Which way would you go as far as the money goes?
I would rather spend more money at the D tackle position. You're going to need to sign a free agent safety regardless. I just want a smart vet that knows his assignment. But I'm double dipping. I'm drafting one too. I think we still need 2 safeties along with Wilson. I don't think you can roll with Wilson, a safety, and Thompson or whoever they have back there. Maybe a Reggie Robinson, but still I'm not going to bank on those type of guys. Yeah, we don't know. So I'm still drafting away. There's only so much I can expect from a 5th round rookie who hasn't played, and I'm not going to bank on him being a guy. I would like to see him, but he still is probably going to be like an Xavier Woods, So,
well, you get what you pay for. I mean, if you draft, there's a reason why these guys drop in the 4th and 5th and 6th round. So you can't always every single year put all your eggs in that basket and think this 6th rounder that you're hoping is going to be good. You can't bank on that. And I think that's what the Cowboys keep doing. They keep on saying, "Oh, he's got some talent. We're banking that he's going to take that next level." And when he doesn't, we have to look at he was drafted in the 6th round. So maybe that's why he was drafted, because that's what he is.
Yeah.
So I want to see them go out there. And I think what they're going to do, Nick, this will be my thing. Get that Tomlinson kid or somebody to that effect, and then that's cool if you don't jump out there and go crazy in free agency with the safety, but get a middle level safety. You can spend some money on that guy, and he can still be young, and then maybe draft somebody to compete. But the main thing is aggressive. We have to stay aggressive if we're trying to take this next step to where we want to go.
Yeah, definitely. No, totally agree.
So let's talk about this quarterback thing. I sent that message to you, dog, because now I'm thinking we've already talked about the Dak Prescott thing yesterday on the late night hype. Now you got Andy Dalton, who's playing well. I think he's got 19, almost 2,000 yards, 14 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's looked really good. In that last game against Philadelphia, they have a pretty decent deal. We know their secondary is trash, but he still has played better. So let's say we win this game against the Giants, we get in the playoffs. I'm throwing some hypothetical shit out here. What happens if Andy Dalton, what happens if we win the East, right, by default? We go into the playoffs. We play somebody who's got a better record. Let's say we play Tampa Bay and beat them. Let's say we lose the next game, but we beat them in that first round, right?
Yep.
And Andy Dalton plays good. He's not won a playoff game, and he plays good. Do you think the Joneses will start playing that mind game with Andy Dalton and say, now we don't have to think we're going to have to jump out there and really play Dak because look what Andy Dalton did?
Play the mind game?
Or
maybe, but I don't think they'll take that serious. I think more than anything, I think Stephen Jones. What's that?
Or you think we're going to sign Dak?
Oh yeah, I definitely think we're going to sign Dak. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Stephen Jones will be licking his chops, getting ready to get a comp pick for Andy Dalton. Honestly, I think he's too old to really say like he's our guy. He's done well for sure. Yeah, he's done well. But I think there's definitely a difference in what Dak brings to the game, and his upside, and still what he brings from a leadership standpoint, and just from what they've said for the most part, I'm still very confident that they're going to sign him. And maybe I'm just overly optimistic because that's what I want, but I'm honestly not overly worried.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm overly worried, but I don't believe him. Because here's my thing. Y'all keep playing these games, and I'm going to keep going back to it. Y'all said y'all was going to sign him this year, a year ago. Y'all said y'all was going to get it done this time. Now, the price is going to keep going up. Okay, so if the price is going up, and we've seen his value going up, and you still are staunch on this 6-year deal type thing, and you don't change up, and he still got this Todd France over there, and they're still their heels all in the ground saying we want to do this 4-year deal, and that's that, and they're probably going to franchise again. Dog, I'm telling you, man, I don't have me with no confidence that they're going to get that done.
Well, I think the situation's changed a little bit to where it makes a little bit more sense to have a contract. One, we are a year closer to being away from this impact of COVID. So cap stuff. That's just one thing. You can always work around. We've seen other big contracts be signed right now, but that's one thing. Two, you see that your franchise tag, you're guaranteed $31 million. You haven't missed a game. I'm not willing to play ball because I know I'm going to be able to get another big contract the following year. So that's another thing. And I just don't think really either side was really negotiating in good faith to where I don't think they even attempted to meet in the middle. I think Todd France was, hey, I want 4 years at this amount. And Steven and Jerry were, nope, it's either 5 or 6 at this amount. And then that was all the discussions. I think this time around, they have a little bit more incentive to try to get that deal done. One, Dak's coming off an injury. He wants that long-term stability. He's shown that he can be the guy, and he's shown what it looks like when he's not out there, when they're playing good teams. Dalton has played well against some bad teams, but there's still a significant difference. So I think both sides will be willing to bend off their original numbers this time around.
So do you think he will change from that, move out of that 4-year realm and go to what the contract that they want and go 6 years, especially when this TV deal, and they just announced that it's going to be like over 100-something billion or million, I don't know exact number. You really think he's still going to do that when he's already been dug in the ground this whole past year?
Yeah, actually, I weirdly think he's going to settle on a 5 or 6 year deal. I posted that on Twitter a couple weeks ago that I'm weirdly optimistic about that. I think having that Mahomes deal now out there with a 10-year deal, making 45 on average, that's a big roof that was lifted off these contracts. And then you also have the 39.5, I think is what Watson is making over 4 years. I could see them doing something in between, a 40, a 42 for 5 years, something like that. So I think the big thing, the Joneses didn't want to break any major contract barrier because there was still a lot of haters out there, because the Jones, they read the newspapers, they know what people are saying. They didn't want to be the butt of all jokes if it doesn't work out. But now there's guys making more money regardless. So I can kind of see it.
Well, let's see, because I'm 50-50 on it. I don't have the full confidence that it's going to get done, because I just feel like, I see too many other things that are showing me. Not saying it can't, but I heard last year, the year before, and I'm hearing this, the price is going up. Let's see, because I feel like Steven's still going to be crying about that cap, because other people are going to be coming up soon. One of the people in particular who's going to be coming up, and I've been vocal about it, people have got on me about it. I don't give a hell if you have. That's your problem. When I talked about Michael Gallup, I never, if I'm an owner, okay, and I own a team, like I said, you owe it to your team to look at everything. That doesn't mean you're going to get rid of everybody, but you owe it to your team to look at everything that can make your team better. With Michael Gallup's deal getting ready to come up, his contract will be up next year. And we talked about this Dak thing. I think Michael Gallup's going to want some money, and they've been talking to him, and he ain't been so, oh, yeah, Dallas, I'm going to be here forever. You know what I'm saying? He's like, well, we'll just see what happens. That's what he's talking, because Michael Gallup, you just seen this game. Michael Gallup's going to want to get paid. Michael Gallup ain't going to be taking no side money with no Cooper. I don't care how much he loved the team. He's not going to take no team-friendly deal. So with that going on, and you think you may lose him, and there's some willing and dealing going on, is a guy like Michael Gallup somebody you were willing to listen to some offers and do a trade?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If he's one of those guys that wants to get paid early, I'm sorry, man. I already have a high-priced wide receiver in Amari Cooper, and I just spent a first-round pick on Lamb. So it's one of those things where, like, I'd love to have you for another year, and then figure it out. But I can't do that. I can't make that investment right now. So I'd definitely be looking at offers there. I'm a little more cutthroat than I think Jerry is, though. He loves his players. He loves his wide receivers. He loves his stars. So it'll be a tough decision, but I think you got to listen to those offers.
Yeah, and definitely. Let's keep on continuing to get these likes up in the building. But there you go, Nick. See, I got somebody on my side with some brains. I ain't saying nobody. I know all y'all got brains out there. But like I said, man, when you see guys getting ready to come up on deals, that's why everybody was hailing the Patriots, Nick, because they will watch these guys getting ready to come up on the deals a year ahead of time, and they will be watching, thinking, okay, they want to get their money, they want to get paid. So let's start looking at offers already before it even gets to this point that we got to play that game. That's why they stayed on top of things, because of that. And I feel like that's what the Cowboys have to do as well.
Yeah. And that's why when we talk about the draft, like, I don't worry as much about need, mainly because you need to be setting yourself up to be able to not have to make those decisions. So the fact that we have multiple wide receivers that are, NFL ready, that can be stars, it doesn't force you to have to pay those guys. If you already had Lamb in house, I'm pretty sure those negotiations for Cooper would have been very different, So give me options, man. Give me options, as many as possible.
And that's where the thinking is. You have to have guys behind the starters that are just not the dogs, but they're damn near dogs right behind them. So you don't feel like when your team if a black guy gets hurt, he slides right in. The whole thing is to build that depth. And like you said, I'm not going to sit there and close my eyes to anything. If there's a good ass offer, they're talking about Quinnen Williams. He was already talked about earlier. If they say Quinnen Williams, and we want Michael Gallup and maybe a pick, I'm definitely going to sit there and say, what kind of pick do you want? You know what I'm saying? Because now that covers my D tackle right there. I still got a young buck in the fold, and now I can move on to other things because I still got a good nucleus around. And that's where you got to always be thinking, like you said, a step ahead, and you got to have quality depth. As soon as you got that CD Lamb, now you looked at who somebody might be expendable right here, and let me look at options.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what's got to happen. So we'll see. Kellen Moore, since we're talking on the offensive side of the ball, I mean, I think he's all but gone.
He's out of here.
He's out of here. I mean, alma mater, say you want to be a head coach. Why was you not? You're going to have the power of Jesus and God over there. The boys is going to give you that. So Kellen Moore, let's say he's gone. I'm not saying do you know 10 million offensive coordinators out there, but what route would you go, or what would you be happy to see go? Would you see a Mike McCarthy to call plays? Doug Nussmeier has been in the fold because he's the quarterback's coach and he's been there the last couple of years. Philbin's been a head coach. I think he may have called offensive plays, or do you think they look outside? What's your kind of thought pattern with that?
I do think it's going to be inside also. I do think Nussmeier will have the OC title. I don't necessarily think it'll be the same type of role as Kellen Moore, because I do think Mike McCarthy would take over plays again. So it'd be, OC by title. He'll be part of the game planning, kind of like he already is. But I think, McCarthy will take over play calling again. But you never know.
I don't really. I'm kind of in my head torn. I kind of want to see McCarthy, call plays, because I feel like he's a pretty good play caller and he's an aggressive play caller. Obviously, you had an Aaron Rodgers, but I feel like him and Dak Prescott, and I think he would want to. I think he want to coach Dak, not just coach him, but call them plays with him. I think he would want to get his hands in there and want to be able to do that. What you think about that?
Yo, definitely. And I think, on top of all that, if Mike McCarthy did what he said he did, and he took more of an analytical approach, and then he learned from the different wrinkles that Kellen Moore was able to bring to the offense, and he combined it with what he already knows, I think it could be very successful. And then you have a guy, with a ton of experience. He's worked with a lot of really good quarterbacks. So having him, more of a, almost like even a mentor than just a head coach for Dak would be a really good opportunity.
Yeah, I think he may stay with that, and I don't feel like you're going to just fall off the planet Earth if he jumps over and starts calling the plays for the team, and he's going to have a lot of weapons to be able to go through, and you got other collective minds that can, like you said, Nussmeier may be in an OC, but you'll be seeing a lot of the Mike McCarthy thing, and I think he really wants to call plays for Dak Prescott. It's just a situation, in my opinion, was the Joneses were like, we're not getting rid of Kellen Moore, so you might like him, but he's not going anywhere anyway because we like him, and so as long as we like him, he's going to be here. Now I feel like if he goes, now he's like, okay, I got more of command of what I can do, and maybe I have a little bit more say of who I can put where, and maybe I can just run over and take this thing how I want. Also, let me ask you, on the offensive side, Ezekiel Elliott, is he people being on his ass? I said that he wasn't. I never dogged Ezekiel Elliott and said he's trash and you should get Tony Pollard. You know me and you've been having the Tony Pollard talk, and I said I just I like Tony. I just feel like he's not Ezekiel Elliott, and he shouldn't be starting over Ezekiel Elliott. But I feel like if you use that 1-2 combo, it can be damn good for the team. You're seeing Ezekiel Elliott. He's been the Eagle killer. He went nutty. First 100-yard game in a long time. What do you feel about Ezekiel Elliott? Do you feel like, quote unquote, he's back? No. What do you feel like? What do you feel like about Ezekiel?
I honestly don't think he's back, but I also didn't ever really think he was gone. I think he was pressing for a little bit, which led to some fumbles. And his style of running doesn't complement well against very below average run blocking, because he's not that super shifty guy that can make something out of nothing. He's that guy that's going to give you 4 or 5 yards pretty consistently. Compared to Pollard, he's going to give you 1 yard, 1 yard, 1 yard, maybe 40. So you got to use both those guys. It never needed to be an either or thing. I think my only criticism would have been the coaches kind of having a more of an 80-20 split between the two players. And now we're seeing closer, probably 60-40, 50-50. And I think that's where it needs to be. So, they both provide different types of running, which can be lethal.
I wonder how that's going to go into next year, especially if Kellen Moore goes. You know what I'm saying? I wonder how they'll kind of spin those two together, because those two need to be together. And Tony Pollard needs to continue to get that ball, dog, because we've seen the explosive, and I feel like it opens up for Zeke as well. Like they both complement each other as far as Ezekiel Elliott beats up that defense, then Tony Pollard can break through it. Or you can get Tony Pollard opening the defense up with his explosiveness, and then you can battle around with Ezekiel Elliott. You got to make that combo work, and we've seen it. If you can continue to make it work, if it happens good in New York, who knows what happens if we get to the playoffs? Okay, so are you excited about the team getting to this playoffs? What do you kind of feel about that? Or is it like, we won the East, we wouldn't go to how do you feel about that, dog?
I like winning. So anytime you can win the division, I'm here for it. I think one of the biggest things as far as our culture with the Cowboys is we do well one year, then we go 4-12. We do good the next year, and then we go 8-8. So it's one of those things where, like, the more consistently you can make the playoffs, even in your bad years, I'm here for it. We need to establish that culture where you expect to be in the playoffs. Does it hurt our draft stock? Absolutely. But I was always one of those people that unless we're getting a top 5 pick, let's just win games then. I don't really care about the trade back as much. Let the draft fall to you if you're going to be in the teens anyways. So I say let's go for it. I'm excited. I don't want to get my hopes up, though, because that's what the Cowboys always let me down. So kind of go into it a little hesitant.
Yeah, I ain't falling for that shit no more, dog.
No, yeah. So, but hey, if we win, I'm excited.
I think I don't know if it's a lot of Cowboys fans, big dog, right now, but I think a lot of us are sitting back. I know I am. I'm kind of feeling like you are, as far as I'm excited for the fact that's my Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't doing cartwheels and backflips because I know too many times y'all let me down. And I see the team that we have. Okay. Yep. We don't have no great offensive line. We don't have no great quarterback. Our defense still suspect. Our defense can still give up points. It's not like we're great. But just like you said, the culture of winning or getting to the playoffs consistently every single year brings expectations, and that's the type of thing we have in the building. Because I don't think we've been having these expectations, but we are always falling short. If you are consistently battling for the playoffs every single year and almost getting to the playoffs every year, it changes the mindset for the players are there and the players that come in. Your free agents that come in, your draft players that come in, because they come in with a certain expectation is this is the Patriot way, this is the Cowboys way, and this is how we're going to do it because we have a certain expectation that we are getting to the playoffs every single year. And when you come into this building, this is where you need to be for us to continue to have this level. And that's the mindset we got to get in as a whole, as the team, because if the team can do that, then we can rise above these little mishaps that we have every single year that continues to knock us down and we become mediocre.
Yeah, you just can't be complacent. You can't be one of those things where, like, hey, we're just going to squeak by. Sometimes we'll make a playoff run and maybe win one game every 10 years. So you can get lucky in these playoffs. There's not an NFC team that I'm like overly confident in. So even the Packers have had some blunders throughout the year. So, like, I don't know. Anything could happen. No one's bulletproof on this side. If I played the Chiefs in the AFC, I'd be a little worried, but no one on the NFC really scares me too much.
And that's, what's frustrating, man, is that when the last few years, the NFC has not been tough, but yet we can't take a hold of it. Yeah, something happens with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been looking at this NFC, especially the East and particularly NFC. I'm like looking from afar, like I know the Packers have won some games, but they ain't so dominant that they can't beat. They ain't running through no squads. You know what I mean? So it's almost like I get frustrated because I see, damn, this is an opportunity for us to take what could be ours, and then we have all these damn injuries. And then Dak Prescott goes out. It's like it's always something keeping us from getting to that next level. But it would be huge for the mindset of the team, especially with McCarthy and these guys, that if we somehow got into these playoffs and played well, even if they lose, I don't want to go in there. If we do go to the playoffs, we have to play well. Don't go up in there and get shell-shocked or get annihilated. Go in there and make it competitive, because that's going to carry over to 2021 for sure.
Yeah, and just think about the mindset with the players too. If you had all of this adversity and you were able to come back, win a couple of games, make the playoffs, either be competitive, maybe even win a game, how much more confident do you think they have in these coaches? How much more likely are they to buy into what these guys are saying rather than finishing a season 4-12? You limped your way out of week 17, and now what are you doing? Shoot, I don't want to re-sign here. I don't want to work hard. I'm just going to get paid and call it a day. So there's those little things that I think go into it that a lot of us don't really think about. So let's just win. Let's play well, win, keep building on it.
Let's just win, keep on building on it. So I wanted to ask you another question. Oh, yeah, they just said the Packers claimed Snacks.
Yeah, I saw that they claimed him. He probably, I would assume, because of COVID, won't be able to play during this week. So it's just, I would assume, just in case they need him for the playoff run, would be my guess. But he's still probably out of shape, because that's why
they got rid of over Seattle. I made a tweet and I was talking about this. I wanted to ask you because they had it on the NFL.com and I looked at it. Gil Brandt talked about it and I brought it up about LVE. His contract is going to be coming up as well. You know, Michael Gallup, but he's a first round and they're talking about the 5th-year option.
Yeah.
I put the question out there. What do people think? Should you go with it? And I'm going to ask people in the chat, what do y'all think? So what do you think, Nick? Do you think the Cowboys should pick up that 5th-year option?
That's a tough sell for me. Honestly, that's a tough sell. I think they will pick it up, but I don't necessarily think they should. Again,
me neither, man.
Jerry hates admitting when he's wrong, and when you use a first-round pick on a guy that you don't even take a 5th-year option on, that's admitting that you were wrong. And some of that doesn't necessarily have to do with the player as far as talent goes. He just can't stay healthy at the most high-impact position on the field. So, got to prove it to me, man. I'm sorry. Maybe we re-sign him. I doubt they do, but you still got to prove it to me.
Yeah, I think, man, that's tough because you see he got talent. You see the size, and I think I think the only thing that kind of keeps me there because you see he's young, he's only 24 years old, he's got talent, and those injuries. So you're like, damn, if he could just stay healthy, and it's almost like you're almost like want to keep him because you're like, watch we don't take the option. Then he's healthy as shit, and he goes out there and wrecks the whole damn NFL. And I feel like that's what keeps Jerry like, I don't want to do it. And I feel like that's what's going to put him on that 5th-year option. And he doesn't want to admit it. And I think he really loves Van Der Esch.
Oh yeah, yeah. And he still has potential. So again, if these were just fluke injuries, he could still be a good player. But man, it's tough. And
ain't that one tough, dog? Like that's a tough one.
How much is the 5th-year option for a linebacker? I don't even know how that works, honestly.
I don't know the 5th-year option, but I know that with the new CBA rules, it's not going by where you were drafted now. It's going by your performance. So they're going more they put it in there now because I guess a lot of the rookies were getting frustrated with that you were getting paid by where you were drafted on that 5th year, but now they're going on how you're performing. So if you outperform, you can get a higher 5th-year option.
Gotcha.
Because of that.
If that's the case, I'd be curious to see how much that 5th option would cost. If it's under 10 million, I'd think about it, you know. That's worth a gamble. But yeah, if it's obviously someone commented 13 million. If it's 13, 14, 15, that's tough sell for me.
That's real tough. I don't know.
That's
about
tough sell for me.
That's a tough sell for me too.
I think 13 million. That's just shy of what Byron Jones made per year. So I'll take an established player like Byron Jones, give him 16 million over a Leighton Vander Esch at 13 million. You know, so that's tough.
Yeah, that's a real tough sell for me too, and that's caught up in the mix. So let's talk about some other guys. Cheeto, Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis played better, and we seen, like I said, I've seen him play a little bit of free safety. They're not going to cost a lot of money on the market. Would you bring any of those guys back?
Yeah, I think the most, and this is just my personal opinion, the most likely to come back would be Cheeto. I think I don't want him in the same role necessarily. I don't want him to be our kind of CB1, kind of CB2. I'd like him to be our third safety if possible. I like Lewis a lot. I just don't think he fits what they want to do. I know a lot of people talk about moving him to safety more. If I'm Jordan Lewis, I'm not signing a contract with someone wanting to automatically change my position.
Right.
I'm likely going to a team that runs a lot more zone so I can use my best asset, which are my eyes. He's got great feel for the game as long as he doesn't have to turn around and run foot for foot with a speedy receiver. He's a good player, but I just don't think it's going to be in Dallas.
Yeah, I think his time is done, and I think he's going to want more opportunities as well. And I've been saying on the Cheeto thing, he just frustrates me sometimes, but I feel like out of everyone, especially since he was the second round draft pick, I feel like the Cowboys would lean more to him. And I feel like they're still looking at him like he's not bad, and they love his athletic ability. And because it was talked about earlier this year about possible safety, I think he's a guy that they would say, let's get a full offseason with Cheeto. Let's put him at safety and let's see what he can do with a full offseason of it. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they could definitely go that route. I still think just because of bodies that they have under contract for corner. They need to sign somebody, whether it's Cheeto or someone on a different team. They're going to need to bring somebody in to play corner and draft guys. So you never know. And
would you use
I do think Cheeto has been a better player than a lot of people give him credit for, but he's also hasn't been as good as we all really hoped he would be. You know,
well,
not saying
he hasn't lived up to that. He hasn't lived up to that second round status, in my opinion. But he hasn't been terrible. He hasn't been like a bust. You know what I'm saying? So what I was gonna say was first round draft pick. Would you go with like if the Farley kid was out there? Let's say I've been throwing some hypotheticals. Let's say like if a Farley's out there, a receiver drops, would you go with a receiver, corner? What position would you really go in that first round?
If all players, like if their grades are equal, my priority would go to cornerback.
Okay.
First round. Because I want a starter if I can get one. Receiver, it's a little rich for me. If it's like a Lamb situation where this guy's a top 5 player and for some reason he fell to say 15, 16, 17, I'd think about it. You know, again, I like having options. And if I have a receiver, that means I could deal one of these guys, or maybe I don't have to hold a contract later on. But it's definitely not a focus. That's not what I want to go. But if one of the top corners falls into my lap, I'm more than happy.
What about that Pitts kid, everybody? We've been talking about the tight end. If you had a choice between him and a corner, you still would go with the corner?
Depends on how they grade it out. So Pitts is one of the highest graded guys in this draft, so I'm definitely thinking about it. And he's a matchup nightmare. He's not really a tight end, but is a tight end. You know, he's more of a receiver than anything. I'm definitely thinking about that for sure. Especially because a lot of this talent, we could see ourselves in another Diggs situation where we don't necessarily take our need, but in the second round, there's some damn good players there that we can still take and can start right away. So I'm not the top end talent is there's only a handful of guys that are up there. So if one of them falls to me, I'm probably going to take them. There's a lot of this late first round, second round graded players. So there should be still a good player up there.
Yeah. So we're sounding like BPA again this year.
For the most part, yeah.
Because especially if this drops down to where we drafted last year, it sounds like we could go BPA. And my thing is, I've been saying for the last 2 years, even when we had Jarwin, that I wanted more speed on the outside as far as the tight end position. And I love what Schultz has done this year. He's basically shut my mouth up about him being some kind of a decent player. But at the end of the day, if you add a Pitts with a Jarwin and the Schultz, now you're really feeling good. And as you said, I feel like there's enough talent on the cornerback position that you can find it in the second or third round. And I feel like you can get a quality starter. We got a dog and Trevor Diggs in the second round, who could be our guy for the next 10 years. So it can definitely happen again, especially with the depth of the cornerback position in this year's draft, like it was last year.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it has to do with how we approach free agency too. Do we bring in another corner to where we're not desperate for a starter? How does that look? What do we do at linebacker? What do we do at safety? I don't think there's a ton of those high prospects in the first round, but it's going to shape out how the second and on how that turns out. So I definitely don't want to pigeonhole myself into one position, and that's what I'm targeting. But for the most part, best player available is kind of what I've always thought.
Yeah, man, it's frustrating because we thought we had our linebacker position sold up, didn't we, for the next 10 years? Now we're looking back at the linebacker position like, damn, I think we might have to start back over in that and load that back up because I want Sean Lee to retire, get his ass on that staff somehow, some way. Joe Thomas, I don't know. Do you want Joe Thomas to come back? But do you want Joe Thomas to come back?
So it kind of depends. If you're addressing the D tackle position and actually putting some bodies in there that can keep these guys off our linebackers, I can rock a Joe Thomas. I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think he's a great player, but I also don't think we need great players at linebacker. They're kind of the running back of the offense or the defense, where they are a product of the guys in front of them. So I do think that LVE and Jalen could look a lot better with some dogs up front. So I'm not in desperate need of a linebacker, but man, if that guy from, I think it was Missouri, Bolton, if he falls in our lap, I'm taking him in a heartbeat.
Right, yeah. He's super
We need
athletic.
football players, not athletes. We need football players.
Yeah, he's that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting here, dog, like, man, I hope they just really stop playing and say, look, we're gonna get this D tackle to really just, because it's gonna make them. I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence has played, and I've been on D Law, but he's playing really good, especially toward the end of the year. If you can get a dog defensive tackle, and with Randy Gregory, let's talk about Randy Gregory. I forgot about my dog, Randy Gregory.
I think this is the best football he's ever played.
Man, dog,
he looks unstoppable.
Man, and he's what we've been waiting for since 2015.
Yeah.
You know,
he still has the speed, and he looks stronger, and his counter moves, man, they look polished. It's been phenomenal. He's not a one-trick pony. He's not a fast up the field guy or slicing kind of inside. He knows what he's doing with his hands, man. It shows, which is surprising to me. It's awesome. He's been great.
I think he's one of them guys like Alden Smith was when he was younger. Randy Gregory is a special type player, and that's why they didn't cut him. That's why they didn't get rid of him all those years. That's why they kept him. Plus, he was cheap. But I feel like I don't know if he's a generational talent, but damn, he's different. You know what I'm saying? When I seen him at Nebraska, I thought he was different. When you see those basketball type bodies on those players in their defensive ends, it's like they're nasty. And when he came in, all I kept saying was that damn bend. But now he's getting that pass rush move he did to get that sack was phenomenal. And I feel like D Law has been working on with that hand placement. So we get a full year of Randy Gregory, because we haven't had a full damn year except 2018. Did he play? Was that a full year with 2018? That was a full year with Randy, wasn't it?
I don't think so.
Wasn't that a full year? I don't know if that was a full year, because I think he may have came a little bit, but if we get a full year with Randy Gregory, and he's 28, but that body is a young 28. I feel like his body is a young 28. So you can put a few more mileage on him. But dog, I am excited about Randy Gregory, and him and DeMarcus Lawrence. That's what we have been waiting for years, man.
Yeah. And I think their play could even improve even more if you, again, improve your secondary just slightly. Just make the quarterback hold the ball just a second longer, a millisecond longer, and then D-tackle. Don't let them just step right up. The ends are doing their job. And even Alden Smith, who's leveled off, they're doing their job. So
I like those three together.
They're a good combo. They both add a different type of dimension.
Yes.
D-Law does everything. I used to say that Gregory was mainly a pass rushing specialist, but he looks damn good in the run too, which is insane.
Man, he's playing his ass off on that run, ain't he?
Yeah, that play that he made on what was it, Miles Sanders on that pitch play or whatever.
And he got them all in that backfield. And he's done that more than once. He did that in the Pittsburgh game. He's done that in multiple games where he's blown up that backfield. And I love seeing it. And Alden Smith, that's where I'm like, damn, Alden Smith, even though he may have leveled off a little bit, right? But brings that he can slide inside, he can slide outside. I just worry about, because he's 31, will he hit that wall quicker than anybody else? But man, you love to bring him back with a Randy Gregory and a D-Law next year. You're feeling real damn good about that lineup, ain't you?
I'd love it if they did bring him back, which I'm
worried
sold that they will.
Money.
I don't really think he's going to take a lot of money necessarily.
You don't think so? Don't you think? I think he's going to have a market though.
I think he'll have a little bit of a market. I don't think it's as big as a lot of us thought it was.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be crazy.
I think he does like working with the D-line coach since they have a history at San Fran. But what I really would like is for him not to be just an end or like a designated pass rusher, but take on and basically be an upgraded Tyrone Crawford, where he plays that outside and inside. He runs games with D-Law and opens stuff up. The dude can be a beast if he continues to work, you know?
Because it's not like he's the smaller Alden Smith. He's the bigger Alden Smith.
Oh, yeah. He's bigger than Crawford, naturally bigger than Crawford.
Man, if you run that pass rush where you got him sliding in that middle, and then you put D-Law and Randy Gregory out there on that 3-man rush, dog, you feeling good about that, man. So hopefully they'll figure that out. with Alden Smith. I really love to see him come back, but I'm worried about that the money situation. But I think that would be a great combo with all those guys kind of going forward. Who else has kind of stood out to you this year? Who is somebody we're in week 15, offense or defense? Who's had you like, man, I'm really feeling good about this guy going into next year?
There's a couple guys, and I don't think they all necessarily play big time roles, but they definitely serve purposes as far as building your team around. Dalton Schultz at tight end. I think he is a solid, our second tight end, which we haven't had in a while. Does a little bit of everything. Donovan Wilson. He still has a lot to work on, especially in coverage, but he's done well. Diggs. And a lot of it doesn't necessarily have to even do with his play, but his attitude, man. We need those type of personalities on this team that fight and have some swagger. And you could tell mainly, maybe it's just because of his pedigree, but the dude wants to be good. And I want those type of guys on my team. So those are probably three guys that just off the top of my head jump out to me.
See, you must be reading my brain. Now I'm gonna leave Schultz alone, but
Gallimore's another one.
Yeah, Gallimore. But I'm gonna say them two in particular, Diggs and Wilson, and I'm gonna stay with them two as my guys and Randy Gregory because I've been waiting for Randy Gregory for eons to finally do this. But as you said, Diggs gives the team Diggs and Wilson together. It seems like the secondary changes when they both play. I don't know if it's me, Nick, but when I see them both play together, the secondary is more aggressive, has more of an attitude. More plays seems to be made, and I feel like that's being infectious because we have been waiting for Donovan Wilson forever. Everybody, we all been clamoring, what's up with Donovan Wilson, man? What's up with Donovan Wilson? And dog, it feels good to feel like, man, we all were excited about finally seeing him, and then he's proven it to be true. You know what I'm saying? So many times you see a player and you hoping, and you see him like, shit. Say he ain't nothing. But this kid, he's going to get better, and that's why I want to pair him with a really dog-free safety, man. Yeah. Because if we get a dog-free safety, Nick, to pair with him, Donovan Wilson's going to be even nastier, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the thing that we just need to shy away from is using him too much in coverage too early, and that's kind of what we're having to do, though, because he's the only real guy out there. I've completely given up on Xavier Woods. I think he's completely given up on the Cowboys. So Wilson's your guy. So get me a vet free safety that can help line everybody up, kind of teach the young guys kind of how it's done. And let Wilson continue to thrive and kind of be that heat-seeking missile across the middle whenever someone runs there. So dude's got attitude, and I like it.
Dude's got an attitude, and he can't. And the thing I like about it is he's not that super guy in coverage, but he can make plays in coverage. And that's what I do like. He's not some guy you're just like, oh, hell, don't put him in coverage because he's just terrible. And like I said, Diggs, he was my guy in my mock draft. And this is what I love about Diggs is this. Number one, you got a damn good pedigree. You played receiver. You're a baby at the cornerback. That's what I love. You're a baby. You're still learning this, and you went against dog receivers your first year, and you got the attitude and the ability. And then in the offseason, who are you going to be banging against? Your brother, who's an absolute animal over there in Buffalo. Yeah. So you're getting that training before you came in the season, and you're going to get that training after the season, and I think it's going to just be dope. What he adds to the table. And if we get another, and I want to see more of this Robinson kid. I know it was just one hit, Nick, and I could be that goofy dude. It was just one hit, and he called something, but I was just like, man, he aggressive.
Yeah. He can definitely be a player. So with my view with some of these young guys is I'm not completely sold right away that these guys mentally are ready for the bright lights, and not saying that they shy away from it, but these defenses are complicated. I mean, we still see Diggs made an error on one of the coverages that led to Deshaun Watson's touchdown. So if you throw guys out there that don't know what they're doing, they're not going to play with confidence, which means they're not going to play fast. So and this is just my opinion, I'd rather make sure that these guys are confident with what they're doing and what their assignments are to set them up in the best possible position to succeed before I throw him out there. With him being a rookie, him changing positions, him not having an offseason, I could definitely see him being kind of behind the eight ball this year. But next year, the dude better show out, you know. He'll have his opportunity.
Yeah, he's gonna have his opportunities, and you know what? I'm glad some people brought it up. I think a couple people. Let me give a shout out, but let me give a shout out to my dog Stelios 300. You know, we do the hey ho. I got the $10 holla and the $5 holla and the $2 holla. Stelios be making it rain up in here. I think I hit you with the mod, dog. I apologize I didn't get you, but now you the mod, and you know how we do, Big Stelios, and I appreciate you for life. You know how we do, and get them likes up over here because I see you in here. What's up, Uncle Charles? I see my people coming in the building. But mucho booming. I do my metro booming on some more. He already know about that. But what I was gonna say, some people brought up two names on here right quick, Nick, and I gotta get them. Oh, here we go. Gerald Beasley, what's up? He says Tyler Biadasz and Connor McGovern. I'm gonna have to feel that. And what's so crazy about it, Nick? We ain't even get to really seal Tyler badass, and we're just like, damn. What can
I think Biadasz is a very promising player. I think he's exceeded all expectations based off of, again, short off season, not a lot of experience. It's a big jump, and he's done well. I'm less confident in McGovern. I think there's a lot of hype around him. I think he did well.
I don't know. We go fight now. We go fight now, Nick. That's my guy.
I don't think it's a guarantee that he takes over for Connor Williams next year.
No, I don't think he does.
I think it'll be a good competition. Honestly, I think they're both good players.
I don't think he just automatically takes over because Connor Williams shut my mouth up because I said beginning of year Connor Williams. The only reason why we talk about him because he's a second round draft pick. You know what I'm saying? But he shut me up. He's having a career year. I'm not going to be the guy to get rid of him. Now, I do like Connor McGovern. I think he's more naturally stout than Williams, but Williams has an athletic ability that Connor McGovern doesn't. So I think they both add something. But just like you said, I feel like they're going to let them battle out, and it's not going to be any guarantee McGovern can take Connor Williams' spot because Connor Williams has gotten better, and Connor McGovern's been in the league 2 years. Connor Williams been in there 3, and he's only 23 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think what both McGovern and Biadasz do help you out with is you don't necessarily need to keep Looney. You know, you have that flexibility. You have 3 good young guys in the interior line to go along with Zach Martin. So he did better than I expected. I still question a little bit the hoops that it took for him to jump through to be able to get to play. Them moving guys around, putting Looney at right guard, kicking Martin out to right tackle. It was kind of weird how they avoided playing him early, but no, he did well.
All right, so my guy Stelios comes with the $2 holla. He said Terrence Steele is stealing money. Come on, Stelios, we got to give Terrence Steele some props now. Now we was going 8 nuts on him. I was, but I ain't saying he great, but we can say he has played better these last few weeks, and this year has been invaluable for him because he does have traits. He's not like a bum offensive tackle. I don't believe that. He's not a bum, and he does have those traits. And let's get a year in the weight room, and this is valuable experience along with Brandon Knight. That's another guy who has played admirably, and you got another swing tackle. Now, I'm going to ask you this. What do you think what's your opinion, or how do you feel about this Tyron Smith and La'el Collins? If Tyron Smith comes back and you got Zach Martin, let's say Tyron Smith still has issues. Would you kick Zach Martin out at tackle and then start Williams and McGovern and draft?
No, I'm actually fairly confident in Brandon Knight being out there. He's done a good job.
I know, not me.
Really?
I don't want no Brandon Knight starting. Now, I like him as a backup, and I like what he's been doing right now, but I don't want him starting those 16 games. No, I don't want him starting.
16 games. 16 games changed. That means he's probably retired, I would assume, right? Tyron Smith?
Yeah. I'm telling let's say Tyron Smith retires. What are you doing?
Yeah. That makes it a little different. That means I'm a little bit more interested in potentially drafting a tackle. Maybe signing a guy. But honestly, with Dak Prescott back, I can live. And are we guaranteeing La'el Collins is back?
Yeah, we're guaranteeing La'el Collins is back.
If that's good, I can live with one major weak link who has actually played pretty well at left tackle. I'm okay with
that's his blind side though, Nick.
That's what?
That's his blind side though.
Yeah, Dak's a borderline elite quarterback. He can handle it. and he did handle it. You just can't have it on both sides and have your center out and have your right guard injured and you have your left guard injured. You just can't have all that at the same time. But I mean, I'm comfortable with that. I'm not going to sign Brandon Knight to some monster deal, and I don't think he's the future. But if I have to go in there, that's honestly one of the better emergency backup, soon to be starter type guys that we've had in a long time. I like him better than we had Fleming last year, and who was the guy we had before that?
Chaz Green.
I thought there was another one.
I know he was a goofy. I know who you're talking about. He was goofy.
But yeah, I like Brandon Knight better than all those guys. So he started games. He's done fairly well. But I'm still game planning to help him out for sure.
Right.
The major issue Cam Irving is another guy. I've seen that in the chat. I liked him too. I don't want him starting 16 games though. I have more confidence in Brandon Knight than Irving.
I personally don't want. Now there people have been talking about Slater. What if that kid from Northwestern, the Slater kid, and shout out to my dog the Ninja, he's my goon. Shout out to him for the $5 holla. If people don't get their likes up, he gonna get mad at y'all. So get them damn likes up. That's the first thing he says. What about that kid from Northwestern if he fell to you?
Yeah, I mean, again, best player available.
Right.
Tyron Smith is not young anymore, and he's been injured a lot. Do I want to take a top pick and have a guy potentially sit for a couple years? Not necessarily, but if he's by far our best player that we can take, I'm taking him for sure. So, yeah, I have nothing against that.
Well, we're going to see, man. What's and getting ready to close here, man. And I appreciate you jumping on. I had a great talk with you today. Always have good talks with you. This man,
great.
Good knowledge. What's your thoughts about this Giant game? What's the feeling? And then we'll talk a little game planning before we jump off here. What's the feeling going to New York?
I'm weirdly confident about this game. I feel like we're gonna run away with it. Maybe not quite as big of a win as the Eagles, but
I feel like
I just don't know what they're gonna do to stop us. Like their defense is better. My big concern is their D tackles against our interior O line. But if we're able to negate that, I think we should do really well. So I'm not worried about their offense at all, even though we do have a bad defense. But can't let Jason Garrett's offense make us look bad though.
And especially we cannot lose to no. Okay, first of all, we couldn't lose to them the first time. We damn sure can't lose on a possible playoff game. And especially if Washington loses, I mean, we play first, obviously, but we can't let that happen, dog. We got to go down there and beat them damn guys. And I feel like you said, I'm not going in there like super confident, but I just feel like, man, I feel like we're gonna win this game because the defense has better. I feel like we're gonna get some turnovers in this game. I feel like it's the same type of deal, and. Obviously, Donovan Wilson didn't practice. We need that whole secondary to play that game.
Yeah,
we need everybody healthy that game. If we have a full secondary, that full complement of our defensive players, I feel really good in that game, and I think we can take it. If we don't go to the playoffs, either way, I'm cool. I like the way the team has fought and didn't give up on Mike McCarthy. And what's your thoughts on McCarthy? We talked about Nolan. We talked about Kellen Moore. But what's your feelings on McCarthy, going forward right now and even into 2021?
Yeah, I mean, I think McCarthy's done a good job for what he's had to work with. If you look at coaching staffs in the last, 10 years, if we lost one key player, I mean, there was a very good chance we'd lose that game. The fact that we're able to get 6 wins, maybe 7, with how many injuries we've had, how many bad breaks with a weird offseason, I'm impressed. Do I think he is that guy that's going to bring us our 6th Super Bowl? Definitely not sold on that. But next year will be very telling. What is he going to do with hopefully a knock on wood healthy roster? What is he going to do with maybe another set of quote unquote his guys in free agency? He's not ultra hands-on, so maybe he'll allow McClay and co bring in some talent that we've been severely lacking on the defensive side. So I don't think we have a good read on him yet, but all arrows point up for me.
Okay. Well, that was the guy that I wanted to hire toward the end. I said, man, I think you bamboozled me, dog. But you know, I'm not out on McCarthy, but I think the arrow is pointing up because of all the adversity he's had. And one of the things I'm gonna give credit for the staff as well is we would have never, just like you just mentioned, not only just one change. There's been 8 billion changes this year along the offensive line.
Yep.
I mean, think about it, Nick. We never would have seen these guys get benched on defense like they were getting benched this year. We would have never seen guys getting cut this year and traded with the last staff and the influx. We never would have seen. We talked about this last night on the late night hype. We never would have seen Zach Martin kicked out to tackle.
Yeah,
we would never.
Yep.
Yeah, we would have never.
Deserves a lot of credit this year. He's done a great job with what he's had.
He was. I was on his ass. I had to admit, I apologized to him. I called him the other day and said, "I'm sorry, dog. I didn't mean to be dogging you like that. Please forgive me." But I was on his ass. But when you look at what he's done and had the shape, and like you said, those moves would have never happened under Garrett as far as guys getting kicked out, moved around. So that's what I will definitely give credit for the staff, and that's what I get excited about a little bit with this team is that when Mike Nolan was up at top, he came down. They were saying the scheme was too complicated. They dumbed it down. The offensive line was in flux. They moved guys to where they needed to make it productive. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why we won games too, Nick, because we've made adjustments. And what have we been clamoring about with this organization and with this team as a whole? We never adjust. We don't never make the adjustments. It's in the second quarter, and we don't make the adjustment. This dude is getting killed, and he's still leaving this guy out there. This staff actually did what we wanted it to do.
Adjustments and creativity. That's exactly what we got. The only problem with some of the creativity is you take a hit on with the execution when you have a bunch of backup players. But hey, at least we're doing it, you know?
And that's the thing. At least we're doing it even with the backup. So that shows me that if you got the starters in there, that lets me think, okay, things are trending up because that lets me know if somebody's not playing bad, they're going to get benched. And that's what we used to really be frustrated as fans and even media alike is that this dude is getting cooked. Why don't they switch out? And this staff will do it. That's what gets me a little bit more happy going forward because I know guys ain't playing good. Guys going to get bitched. Guys are playing good. Guys going to get rewarded in this system. It looks like from here going forward.
Yeah.
But, hey, man, I appreciate you jumping here. I'm going to stay on a little bit longer because I got to talk to my members and stuff. But, dog, I really appreciate you, Nick. Let everybody know because this is my dog. He been on how many podcasts you been on since now?
Of your show?
No. Because I know you've been
just in general. Just 3.
You did 3 today, right? With Cowboy fans only. And then you was on some other guys.
Frankly Football.
Football, you was on there, and then you jumped on me. So, man, make sure if you see my guy Nick, you see he knows what he's talking about. Go check out his Twitter. Give him your Twitter handle because I always let people go follow Twitter because you could have a show, right? But when you really see people when they're going hard on their Twitter and they really know what the hell they talking about, it kind of validates when you kind of listen to them. So please go follow him on Twitter as well. Give him your Twitter handle because this is a guy that's going to be doing some things later on.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Nick_Herrera34.
There it is, man. Well, like I said, dog, I really appreciate you jumping on here with me. We're going to see what happens this Sunday. If we can make it, if we get into the playoffs. Why do I feel like we're going to get to the playoffs this year? Out of all the years when we try so hard to get to the playoffs, Nick, we try hard as shit, right? Get to the playoffs, right? We never get there. Then it's like, who cares? We don't care about no playoffs. Then we go.
NFL's a crazy league, man. Anything can happen.
We need to just always be negative so we can win.
Exactly.
But hey, man, I appreciate you, man. Have a happy new year. Let's go Cowboys, man, and be safe out there. And we're gonna definitely hop on again. And definitely when we get close to the draft, we jump on here so we can talk about some NFL players. We kind of look going to maybe possibly the Cowboys. All right.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you, big dog, and I'll be talking to you soon. Salute.
That's good. Peace.
That's my dog, Nick Herrera. Like I said, me and him, we jump on Twitter, and we always talk a lot on Twitter. You know, have our little back and forth. You know, just always talking good things and stats of that nature. I really appreciate Nick. Nick is a good guy, and I feel like he's going to have something going on down the line. But I want to stay on here just a few more minutes before I get off here. Tell everybody I love them. Appreciate everybody. Robert Bass, what's up with you, big dog? Let me give a shout out. Stelios, what's up, man? Draft time. Obi-Wan Kenobi, where you making it, man? He said, nah, John's gonna make the playoffs. Hey, my thing is this. I don't want to sound weird. If we make the playoffs, cool. If we don't, cool. I don't really care because I don't feel like we're gonna do anything in the playoffs. I care, but I strongly don't feel like we're going to the Super Bowl with this team with Andy Dalton. Okay. So that's why I'm not jumping up and down and saying, oh, we make the playoffs. If we make the playoffs, cool. If we don't, oh well. The fact that they battled and fought this hard and still made it respectable this year, I'm cool with that. But we'll kind of see. What up, Augustine? What up with you? Matt Nash, how you doing, man? Metro booming on the mountain. But yeah, this is what I was saying. And tell me, I don't know if we're gonna make no noise in the playoffs. I think we could pull a one game upset, but we ain't gonna make no noise. But I think we could pull an upset if we played like Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We could definitely beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they've been inconsistent all year. They can beat a really good team and they can lose to a bad team. So we could definitely beat somebody because there's nobody in NFC. And this is what I've been saying for the last 2 to 3 years, that the NFC has not been as strong as it has past when you had Seattle dominating. And the teams of when Green Bay was dominating Seattle, that kind of fell by the wayside. And I mean, San Francisco, has done its thing, but it hasn't been dominating for years. So now this NFC is wide open. That's why I've been frustrated these last 3 years, because I feel like we haven't took the next step when the division and the NFC has not been strong. This is the time to take it when it's not as strong. So that was my frustration this year. But I feel like the Cowboys still could upset somebody, not even if we're good. We could just upset a team because the NFC is just not strong. And this is a time we could have really took that opportunity to really do something. But I don't know. But the main thing, what I was saying when Nick was on, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, and I'm going to go back to that point that I made, was the thing that I like about this staff more than anything that's happened this whole year is they've done things that the Cowboys fans and media we've been screaming about. When we had Garrett for 10 years, we all have been crying. Well, not crying, been screaming about make adjustments. It's the second quarter. It's the first half. We actually see what's going on, and they still going to continue to run the same damn play. They're still going to continue to bring in the same personnel. They're still going to run the same defense. They're still not going to change this. They're not going to bench this player. He's obviously playing bad, and he's not going to sit him down and get another. Why isn't this other guy playing? We have been screaming that for so long under this organization with this last staff. And now with this new staff, you don't see that. They cut players. They bench players. They move players around. Coaches come out of booths. They have done everything and I feel like like I said, that's the reason why we've got to be 6-9, because they've made the adjustments during this year to make it happen to where they're able to win games. And that's what we have been screaming for staffs to do with the Cowboys, and they're doing it. Now all we need is guys to get healthy, and let's see what a Dak Prescott, a healthy La'el Collins. Let's hope, those guys come in healthy next year, and let's actually see what these guys can do with this team, with this coaching staff, because they've shown that they will make the adjustments, whatever they need to do on the fly to win games. And that's one thing I am happy about. Hey, ho, Stelios with a $5 holler. I mean, you feel me, Stelios? I mean, it's about time. You know what I mean? We finally made adjustments. This is what we've been screaming about and we've been wanting. Please make adjustments, and the staff is doing it. So that's where you'll see excitement come out of me, because I know that they won't just sit there and be pig-headed or bullheaded when they see something totally getting their ass chewed. Like, that's an adjustment when you put a CJ Goodwin to spy, because we've been seeing Jalen for so many times, and he's not the guy to be spying people because he doesn't have the speed. But you put a CJ Goodwin who obviously does have the speed. You see how he plays on special teams, and you spy him. That's some good coaching. And I'm not on no Mike Nolan because, see, when I still look at his stats here, Mike Nolan, they're not great. They're not great by any means. Like I said, they're 27th in total off defense, giving up yards allowed, 11th in passing defense, still 32 in rushing defense, giving 161 yards a game, 30th in scoring defense with 30 points a game, and they're still converting 48% of their third downs. So it's not like this defense by any means is great. 9 interceptions, 16 forced fumbles, 29 sacks. So it's not great by any means. But there's adjustments been made, and you make some adjustments, you get some turnovers like 2014, things happen. Like I said, you get 10 turnovers in three games, you're most likely to win the games. And as I said before, except for the Philadelphia game where we had 4 turnovers and lost that game, where really, if you had a better quarterback, if you said that Andy Dalton was probably playing in that game and you had the turnovers you did, you probably won that game too. So every game that Dallas has at least 2 or more turnovers, they've been wins. So that's a winning formula. Get turnovers, most likely you're going to win the game. And what did Mike Nolan say? And I'm not on his train, but I am saying that what they've been preaching. Al Harris, he said, we're going to get the ball. We're going to get after the ball. Lindquist said, we're going to get after the ball. Mike Nolan said, well, we're going to be multiple, but the main thing is we need to get turnovers. And that's what the defense has done this year. It's got the most turnovers since 2014. So we'll see. But we also played not good teams. Let me get that question up there, Robert Bass. And I ain't seen you in forever, Robert. I don't want no Lovie Smith or no damn Dan Quinn. Hell no. But we also got to look at the teams we have beat. They haven't been great. 4-10, like I made this stat. That's why I said we got to look at all these things. It's good that we're playing better. We're getting turnovers, but teams we beat: Atlanta 4-11, New York Giants 5-10, Minnesota 6-9, Cincinnati 4-10-1, San Francisco 6-9, Philadelphia 4-10-1. So that's why I'm saying Mike Nolan still can go, because the teams that we beat are combined 29, 59, and 2. So it's not like they're super impressive teams that we've beaten. Every team is under 500 that we've beat. Not one team that we beat over 500 this season. But my guy Robert Bass says, what about kicking Alden to the 3-tech and Randy D? And that's what we were talking about. Now, Tyron Crawford plays that 3-tech all the time, and I don't think you should play Alden Smith at the 3-tech all the time. No, because he can rush that passer on the edge, and he offers that. But definitely, I feel like you can, just like me and Nick were talking about, sliding him in that role where he can play that 3-tech as well, like Crawford does, and slide him in that role. Don't want him in full time, but definitely playing him multiple. I'm definitely cool with that, because Randy Gregory needs to be that starter on the end, especially going into next year, because he's an animal. Yeah, Matt, I'm going to put that up there, what you just said, because that's what I've been saying, Matt. And my guy, Matt Nash, who's a great supporter as well. Most of these injuries are a blessing in disguise, and I totally feel you with that. Backups are getting a lot of playing time. When we are fully restored, our offense is going to be deadly next year. Granted, they signed that great. And I was talking about that on Twitter as well. It's huge that Terrence Steele, even though he wasn't great this year, but he's gotten better. And first beginning of the year, we were like, what the hell? Now you've improved. So that's good that Steele has improved. It'd be bad if we were talking about Terrence Steele from week 1, and then at week 15, he's still as bad as he was week 1. We have to look at, even though Steele has got on our nerves from week 1 to week 15, he has improved, and he's young. and he has the size and the ability. You just got to get him in the weight room, get him better technique. You got to get excited about that. Brandon Knight, a lot of players, Donovan Wilson, players that we were waiting to see, got some playing time, and you can carry that over to next year. So that is huge. Paul Wiley says, who do you suggest be our D coordinator next year? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have a particular person in mind. I wouldn't be mad at that George Edwards hire. The only thing I would be frustrated with the George Edwards hire is if they automatically just went straight to him and said, no, look at nobody else. I'm not cool. I know Dan Quinn, what he did at Seattle, but I just feel like he's soft, and that defense has played better since he left. But I don't know. Something about Dan Quinn. I know I know what he did. I know what he did at Seattle. And I'm not hating, but just sorry. Something about Dan Quinn, I just don't feel right. Just feels soft. People been saying Matt Patricia. I say bring him in. I've been on, bring him in, but I feel like he just wrecked that organization over in Detroit. Stay the hell away from here. But yeah, you can bring him in. Just go do your due diligence and not just say, if you let go of Mike Nolan, just say, all right, George Edwards, it's yours. Do your due diligence, go all the way around before you settle on somebody, because you might find somebody who might surprise you. My dog, the lunatic, what's up with you, fam? Says, question. We are 29th in time of possession. Worst teams are Jacksonville, Jets, and Houston. Houston in the first 3 picks. Are you, Lord? We are leaving the defense on our field too long. That's a great question. I think earlier in the season, yes, we were. But if you look at, I haven't looked at the time of possession because I know we still have lost the time of possession battle in the last few games. But it seems to me, it looks like the offense is being more effective when they are getting the ball. Now, we still are not doing good on third down. I think we're only converting 40% of our third downs right now, which is not good at all. But I think when you see these last few games, I think we're converting and we're getting more explosive plays. And I think that's what helps the defense. The time of possession can be deceiving because we're getting more explosive plays on offense, where you saw CeeDee Lamb had a nice long pass for a touchdown. Michael Gallup had a few explosive plays. Amari Cooper had explosive plays. And I think that's what's maybe cutting down our time possession, that we are not having to go 15 plays, 16 plays. It's not bad. And the defense doesn't feel bad when the offense is scoring. If your offense is scoring a lot of points, or as soon as you get off the field and the offense scores, the defense don't feel, oh, damn, we got to get right back on the field, because you're energized because your team has scored points. So it makes you more energetic when you're defending the team. So I think that we're scoring quicker, and that's why we're not on the field as much. But that helps all the way around, because that's what we've been wanting. We've been wanting to score within 2 to 3 plays and not always taking these 10, 15 play drives and getting field goals. Appreciate you, Robert Bass. Yeah, Gerald Beasley, I feel you with Doris Armstrong. I don't know why they keep kicking him out, but it is what it is. Hey, ho, my guy Paul Johnson with the $5 holla says, keep doing your thing. Great content. Hey, I appreciate you, man. We do, we do. We just grinding over here. What are the defensive stats the last 2 games? Let's see. Well, if you look at defensively with Philadelphia and San Francisco, they both got over 400 yards. San Francisco got 458 total yards, 477 for the Eagles, 326 in the passing game, 308 in the passing game with San Francisco, but they had 2 quarterbacks, 150 yards rushing and 150 yards rushing both games. So they ran the ball on us as well, but 3 turnovers in that game, which we only had 1. We end up having 513 total yards in that game. We had 22 first downs. They had 24. So that was in that Philly game. So still gave up quite a bit of yards, almost 500 yards to both teams. So that's why I said Mike Nolan, I still ain't on his train. Yeah, Steve Lumpton, I feel you, but I know what he did, but I just ain't feeling. I just ain't feeling Quinn, dog. I just don't feel right with him. Yeah, definitely look at the takeaways. Our red zone offense actually isn't that bad. Our red zone is I mean, it's 52%. We're 52% in the red zone, but the problem is our uh, defense is allowing them in the red zone. They're converting 61% of their total in the red zone. The defense is allowing, so that's not good. 61%, that's not good. You got to shut that down. Cowboys are converting 52% of theirs. But like I said, Andy Dalton's played better. Almost 2,000 yards passing. He's completing 65%, 1,900 yards, 14 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's looked good. Offensive line has done better with the blocking. Ezekiel Elliott is 64 yards, 63 yards from 1,000. We'll see how that goes. But we can definitely beat these Giants. Yeah, we're not being winning teams. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, I feel you 43 flex. We need a defensive corner that definitely brings energy. As I said, I don't think that they brought George Edwards by mistake, and he's a defensive consultant or defensive analyst, senior defensive consultant. I don't feel like they just brought him here by coincidence. I feel like maybe Mike McCarthy said, Mike Nolan's my guy. We'll have Edwards here just in case it falls apart. So I just feel like it's the easy thing for them to go to Edwards. And I just don't see why he's still in the mix or he's with the organization and they just don't give him a chance, especially if they don't go with Mike Nolan and they don't fire Mike Nolan. Cowboys just don't like to do that. They like to put you somewhere else. I feel like that's what he had been talking about for the last month. And that could be happening where they just move Nolan somewhere. They don't really fire him like they did Monty Kiffin when he was terrible and they just slide Edwards in. We'll see how it happens though. Yes, sir. You feel me, Steve Lumpton? I'm not falling for the fool's gold. Like I fell for it for too long, y'all. And that's what happens. We'll see. And there's nothing wrong. Like I said, 2014, we didn't have a great defense, but we got hella turnovers, and turnovers matter. Like you get turnovers, like a team can move the ball on you, but you get those timely turnovers. That's great. But you still don't want teams getting 400 or 500 yards on you every single game. You want those turnovers. So I just can't believe just because Dallas has got 10 turnovers in 3 games, all of a sudden let's jump right back on Mike Nolan and say, okay, let's give Mike Nolan a chance because now it looks like the scheme is working, this and that. But when you really watch the game, when you look at them turnovers, like I said in that Bengals game, the one turnover that I really feel like made the difference was Tank Lawrence when he caused that turnover with the strip fumble. The other turnover was with the running back running inside into his man and we picking it up and being opportunistic. Okay. You're playing against not good quarterbacks. Now you're supposed to make the best. You're supposed to play on that. You play bad quarterbacks. You're supposed to do that. But I'm saying when I'm looking at these teams still moving the ball on us, they are. So I just don't feel that, oh, the players are just adjusting to the scheme now, and now things are great because teams are still moving the ball on us. We still need more talent. So it's tough because, like we had on the hype, and Law made a good case for what Mike Nolan can say, that look at what we got, turnovers. And if you get me a defensive tackle, and if you get me this, we can probably do this. That's what he can angle it. And he can use the COVID thing. Like, so I don't know how this is planning out. And I was thinking that when Jerry came out and said, yeah, I'm mad at this staff and we're going to do this. Now I'm sitting there thinking, like, when he's seeing this happening, especially if we get to the playoffs and the defense plays any type of decent, I don't see where Jerry's going to fire him or allow him to, or say Mike Nolan fire him. Especially if we get in, if you have another decent defensive performance and you get some turnovers, if we make the playoffs and that defense plays decent, I just don't see where Jerry's going to say, okay, Mike Nolan, you fired. That'd be hard for me to see him doing that. Yeah, I hear you, Paul. Yeah, that Wilson kid, he's nice. Yeah, we was going crazy on the hype. That was funny. Appreciate you, Paul. Yeah, I really think we're gonna handle these Giants pretty good for some reason. I mean, they don't have the offense to speak of, even though they scored 30-some points on us, but I don't think that's gonna happen again. I'm not saying that we're good or anything, but I just feel like it's not gonna happen again. What up, Vaughn? What's up with your family? My guy. Let's see. Paul Roquemore, is that it? Would it be easier for the players to learn a new system, though? That's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like they're going to keep – I feel like they don't want to switch up. I don't feel like they want to keep on making changes. And I feel like that's why Mike Nolan might get opportunity. Even if they slide over to George Edwards, I feel like they'll keep that 4-3 principle. And even here's another thing. If Mike Nolan was saying we're going to be multiple and you have this COVID and then they're starting to get turnovers, that's another saying, well, let me get a whole off season and be able to do this because I didn't get a whole off season to do this. We started getting turnovers. Now let me get a whole off season. That's why I said it's going to be hard for me to see them just saying, okay, bye. Yeah, we definitely need interior alignment. What's up, Lee Norman? Yeah, I feel you. I feel you, Tim Warner. I'm not giving there's no none of that COVID excuse, but Jerry and them already did it. You know what I'm saying? Jerry and them already came with that COVID excuse of why they couldn't sign Dak Prescott. So why couldn't he say, well, it's COVID is this? You know, I totally feel you. There ain't no excuses with that. Injuries are part of the game. Everybody got injuries. You got to sometimes coach up your team because everybody deals with injuries. Yeah, I know, right, Manny? That's crazy. I'm just reading y'all stuff right now. Y'all talking some good stuff right now. Y'all be talking some good shit in here. I just be looking at y'all stuff, seeing what y'all say. Yeah, I think Dallas can definitely play a spoiler, Tim. And just like we've been saying, that's what frustrated with me to me. What frustrated me about a lot of people that was getting on Kellen Moore. And when we still look at our team, we still look at the team. They're still dropping points. I mean, you're talking about what we had 37, 41, 30. I mean, you had 40, 31, 38, 37. And then when Dak got hurt in that Giants game, obviously we fell off right quick 10, 3, 9, and 19. We did better with that. We showed some promise, but then 31, 16 and 17, 30, 41, 37. We've still been putting up points. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, we've still been putting up points for the most part. And that's why I said that's why I've been frustrated with a lot of people getting on Kellen Moore. But I definitely will say that if Kellen Moore does leave, I would very be interested to see if Mike McCarthy calls those plays. They're talking about Doug Nussmeier, but I just feel like McCarthy would really want to get his hands on Dak Prescott and really want to throw an offense out there. Because if I was a head coach, I'm gonna keep it real. If I was a head coach and I was known for offense and calling plays, and I came over, and like I said, once again, I don't care anybody tells me about this. I really feel like Jerry and them were saying that you're going to keep you're going to keep Kellen Moore on the staff because he could possibly be this next head coach. And what Mike McCarthy going to say? No, I don't want him as my offensive coordinator. I'm going to pick my own. Mike McCarthy wasn't saying shit. He was going to do what the Joneses said because he wanted that job. So I feel like that's why Kellen Moore was still on board. But if I'm a head coach and Kellen Moore leaves and I have the choice of picking who I want, I'm keeping it real. If I feel like I'm a damn good play caller, then I might do it like that. Nussmeier, because I'm going to keep you as this quarterback's coach because Dak has like 4 years. He's had different positional coaches. So let's keep that steady. But let me go ahead and if I feel like I'm a damn good offensive coach, I'm gonna call these plays because I want to work with Dak Prescott. I want to see what I can do. If we was get damn near, he was averaging 371 yards passing a game, and I felt like I could call plays. Well, shit, I'm gonna call him then. Let me see if I can do that. That's what I'm gonna do. Paul, you wild. That's what Derek Graves. That's what Boss said. He thought McCarthy was calling him play Sunday. What y'all think? Because he did have that. He had that joker to his mouth a lot. Yeah, we don't do it good and cold and rainy. But I really don't want to lose to the Giants. I don't even care about the Giants. Like they ain't nobody to me. I I, I just really don't want to lose to them in Garrett. Last game of the year, I just don't want to lose to them. It's like almost like we came this far. Even if the Washington wins or lose, I don't care what they do. I don't care anything about what Philly and Washington do that game. I just want to beat the Giants because I don't want Jason Garrett getting over on nothing. And they're talking about firing him. And I'm not hating on Garrett, but I just don't want to lose to Garrett. I really don't. Especially the last game of the year when this game could put you in the playoffs and it doesn't matter. I ain't going nutty about the playoffs, but I just don't want to lose to Garrett. Just like I didn't want to lose to the Eagles just because I hate the Eagles. Y'all are an annoying fan base, and you're just an annoying team. You're really an annoying fan base. That's why I don't want to lose to you. San Francisco, I can't stand the Niners. The 49ers, I hate them for life. They're up there with the Steelers and the Redskins, or I'm sorry, the Washingtons. They're up there with them. So to beat them guys, that felt good. So I just can't go out and lose to the Giants with Jason Garrett. This will be the great trifecta, the great three-peat. Go ahead and just do the three times dope. Slay it. Hell yeah. Hey, and if he could come with some good stuff, Mike Nolan, go ahead. You ain't got shit to lose. But I'm getting ready to head off here, man. I got to get up early tomorrow. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve. I think we're still doing our burgers and blitzes tomorrow with my guy Mike White. I'm gonna hit him up tonight to make sure he's still down so we can get our burgers and blitzes off because Mike got some stuff to talk about. Um, and then New Year's is going down. My dog Boss Cowboys, me and him are going to go in Saturday for end of the week final thoughts. And then Sunday we're getting it in. But we got some, just giving you a heads up. We got more interesting guests coming up. Working on a couple people. One in particular, linebacker. I don't say his name, but there's a linebacker I'm working on. I know his family. I know my homeboy knows his family as well. So I'm just working on him right now. Let's maybe get him right after the season's over, if his parents allow it. So we'll see. But that'll be an exciting one if I can nab that one. Um, I think you'll like that interview, but I don't want to say the name right now. Also, what was I going to say? Happy New Year to everybody, man. It's 2020. 2020 has sucked. Hasn't been the greatest year. There's been a lot of deaths, man, this year. Kobe. Just been a lot of so many big name people that have died this year. It's kind of crazy. So hopefully 2021 brings in some more joy, some relief from this COVID, and we can finally hopefully get things back to normal, sports, life, everything. Just get back to doing things like we normally do and have to worry about all the extra. So I just want to wish everybody a happy new year. Make sure you're safe out there. I'm not going to do nothing for New Year's. I've been there, done that. I don't do that stuff no more. I don't be getting twisted on New Year's. I don't need to do that. So I'm definitely not doing that. I haven't even watched the ball drop the last, I think, 2 or 3 years straight. I don't think I even watched. I've been asleep. I haven't even watched the ball drop. So that tells you how much I care about New Year's. It's just another damn day to me. But anybody who's out there celebrating New Year's, man, please be safe out there. There's a lot of craziness. A lot of craziness is going on, and I would hate to hear about anything crazy happening. So please be safe out there. If you are drinking, make sure be careful how you're driving out there. Call a cab if you're out there in these streets. Have somebody else who's not twisted drive your ass home so you can get on the late night hype and keep on watching Big Game James and shit. I don't want to hear about no crazy accidents from nobody out there, man. And just continue to let's keep the faith on to see what these boys are going to do this Sunday. But just please keep supporting our channels, mine in particular. Like I said, we just hit 5K, I think, last week, and we're shooting for the stars. I really appreciate all my subs, my members, all my people who helped us get here. I said I wanted to hit 5K before the season was over, and we hit it last week. So we hit our goal, and I like that. I love hitting goals, setting goals, and then hitting goals. So now the next goal is 10K, and let's definitely get that. I want to get that before the start of the season. I want to get that before the start of next season. So that would be October. So we can definitely achieve that. But we just continue to go hard. I'm gonna continue to do whatever I need to do to continue to make this thing great. Incorporate some things. I got some new things I'm adding on in January. It's been kind of tough because I picked up work hours with my work because I'm trying to grind and get this money. I got things I'm trying to take care of and add to my shows and just in general. So please just continue to uplift me, support, share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And what we're doing, Law, Sky, with this late night hype, and continue. Let's make this thing great, man. It's been a great run with this late night hype, man. It was awesome this year. Really was really excited. All the great guests we got this past summer. It was awesome. And so going into 2021, we want to do it even better and take it to even higher heights, the late night hype. But we're going to continue to do it with you guys. You guys are the backbone of what we do. We put out the product, but you guys are the one that support it like no other. So we just need to have y'all continue to support us, man, so we can continue to make this thing great for what we're doing and for you guys and continue to bring this great Cowboys content to this community like no other. So, man, appreciate y'all. I love y'all for life, man. And we're going to kick it tomorrow. Like I said, hopefully my guy Mike is up to do his thing. And we'll have burgers and blitzes tomorrow every Thursday. You know how we do. It don't never stop. All right. So peace. Salute everybody. Appreciate all my donations today. Stelios 300, you got your wrench. You know how we do. Appreciate everybody on Facebook that was listening, man. And just like I said, once again, I appreciate the support. You guys be safe out there heading into New Year's. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Big Game James, Silver and Blue Nation, y'all. I'm out. Peace.